48 years ago, a small probe named Voyager 2 left Earth, carrying humanity's hopes etched into a golden disk, a message to the stars declaring we exist. Now, drifting over 12 billion miles away in the silent expanse of interstellar space, it has whispered something back. On a crisp morning at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, a team hunched over flickering screens caught a signal that didn't belong. It wasn't the usual hum of data magnetic field readings, particle counts, or diagnostic pings. This was different, a faint, rhythmic pulse woven into the telemetry, like a heartbeat from the void. The discovery sent a shiver through the room. Voyager 2, launched in 1977 with technology older than most of the analysts now tracking it, hadn't sent anything unexpected in decades, yet here it was, a subtle anomaly, deliberate and precise, as if the probe had found something or something had found it. The signal wasn't loud, it didn't scream for attention like a solar flare or a cosmic burst. Instead, it hid within the stream of routine data, a pattern so intricate it took hours for the team to confirm it wasn't noise. Frequency pulses, split across narrow bands, repeated in a loop that felt almost musical. The intervals weren't random. They aligned with unsettling accuracy, forming sequences that hinted at structure, maybe even intent. At first, the researchers leaned toward the obvious, a glitch. Voyager's systems, powered by a fading nuclear battery, were prone to quirks. Decades of cosmic radiation could fray even the most robust circuits, but the more they analyzed, the less that explanation held. The pattern wasn't a chaotic artifact of failing hardware. It was too consistent, too layered, like a message encoded in a language no one had taught the probe to speak. Word spread quickly. Teams from SETI, ESA, and observatories in Australia and Japan joined the effort, pulling apart the data with algorithms designed to hunt for meaning in chaos. What they found pushed the boundaries of reason. The signal's structure, when mapped, formed geometric waveform spirals and polygons that danced across visual displays. Stranger still, segments of the data mirrored prime number sequences, a hallmark of intentional design often speculated in theories of extraterrestrial communication. Others showed harmonic oscillations, faint echoes of the same mathematical beauty found in the golden record aboard Voyager 2. That time capsule of human voices, music and knowledge meant for anyone or anything that might find it. But these harmonics were twisted, refracted through an unfamiliar lens, as if someone had heard our record and replied in a dialect we couldn't yet understand. The implications were dizzying. Voyager 2's onboard computer, a relic of 1970s engineering, who had no capacity to generate such patterns on its own. Its programming was rigid, built for sending predictable streams of ones and zeros, not crafting symphonies of data. A malfunction seemed unlikely to. The probe's redundancies, designed to withstand the harshness of space, had weathered worse. Power fluctuations or radiation hits might scramble a signal, but they wouldn't produce something this ordered, this purposeful. That left a possibility no one dared voice at first: an external force. Something had touched Voyager, not with a physical nudge but with a whisper, rerouting its ancient systems to broadcast a message it was never meant to carry. The timing added to the mystery. For years, Voyager 2 had sailed through the interstellar void, its instruments quietly measuring the thin soup of particles and fields beyond our solar system. No high-energy bursts, no nearby stars flaring, no gravitational anomalies had been detected. The probe was alone, or so we thought, drifting in a darkness so vast it defied comprehension. Yet now, after decades of silence, it spoke in a way that suggested it wasn't alone anymore. The signal lasted several minutes, an eternity for a probe rationing its dwindling power. Why expend such energy on something that served no diagnostic purpose? Was Voyager acting on its own, or had something hijacked its voice? As the data poured in, analysts noticed another layer. The signal's structure wasn't just mathematical, it felt responsive. Parts of it echoed the golden records, designed its curated sounds of Earth, from whale songs to Mozart to greetings in 55 languages. But these echoes were altered, as if someone had taken our message, studied it, and sent back a variation. Not a mimicry, but a conversation. The idea was chilling. What if this was a reply? What if something out there had heard our call and chosen this moment to answer, using our own probe as a mouthpiece? The thought lingered like a shadow, too vast to fully grasp. Scientists scrambled to rule out earthly explanations. Could a ground-based error have corrupted the data? Unlikely. The signal was consistent across multiple receiving stations, its timestamps aligned perfectly. Could cosmic interference, like a pulsar or a magnetic storm, have caused it? No, the surrounding space was quiet, with no known phenomena to account for such precision. Engineers pored over Voyager's schematics, tracing every circuit and subroutine in the transmission system, built with layers of redundancy, couldn't spontaneously craft such a complex pattern. The odds of a random glitch producing prime numbers and harmonics were astronomical, bordering on impossible. The global scientific community buzzed with theories. Some speculated that an advanced intelligence had intercepted Voyager, perhaps studying it for years before deciding to act. Others wondered if the signal was a natural phenomenon we'd never encountered, a kind of cosmic resonance mistaken for intent. A few even suggested the probe itself had somehow evolved, its circuits warped by decades in the void into something new. That idea, though, stretched credulity. Voyager's hardware was too simple, too fixed, for such a leap. The more plausible, if unsettling, theory was contact, not a dramatic encounter with lights or ships, but a subtle, deliberate gesture, like a note left in a bottle we'd cast into the cosmic sea. Public reaction was a wildfire. Social media exploded with hashtags and theories, from alien greetings to government cover-ups. Some saw it as proof of life beyond Earth, pointing to Voyager's golden record as the bait that finally hooked a response. Others, more skeptical, argued it was a publicity stunt or a misinterpretation of noisy data. Philosophers weighed in, too, questioning what it meant if humanity's first contact came through a machine we could barely keep powered. The idea of an intelligence waiting, watching, and choosing to speak through our own creation shook the foundations of how we saw ourselves in the universe. What made the signal even more haunting was its restraint. There was no spectacle, no flood of energy or dramatic takeover of the probe. Just a quiet, precise message, slipped into the data stream like a secret. If this was contact, it was patient, calculated, and eerily subtle. Whatever sent it didn't need to announce itself with fanfare. It knew we'd notice, but patience suggested something profound, an intelligence that understood time differently, that could wait decades, maybe centuries, for the right moment to speak. As days turned to weeks, the analysis deepened. Teams used machine learning to parse the signal's layers, uncovering patterns that hinted at a logic beyond human design. Some segments, when plotted, resembled fractals. Others suggested a base-12 numerical system, alien to our Bayesian habits. Yet the signal stopped as abruptly as it began, leaving no further transmissions. Voyager 2 resumed its usual data stream, as if nothing had happened. The silence was deafening, amplifying the mystery. Was this a one-off message, a test to see if we were listening, or the first note in a longer conversation we weren't ready to join? The event sparked a broader reckoning. For decades, humanity had debated whether to shout into the cosmos or stay silent, fearing what might answer. Voyager 2, with its golden record, was a quiet shout, a gesture of hope, not aggression. Now, it seemed, something had answered, not with a shout of its own but with a whisper, using our own tools to speak. That choice felt deliberate, almost respectful, as if whatever was out there wanted us to feel seen, not threatened. The signal's echoes of the golden record suggested it had studied our message, understood our intent, and replied in kind. Engineers at JPL continued their work, combing through Voyager's logs for clues. They traced its path through interstellar space, checking for nearby objects or anomalies that might explain the signal. Nothing stood out: no stars, no planets, no detectable energy sources. The probe was alone, drifting in a void that suddenly, we felt less empty. The lack of context made the signal's precision even more striking. If something had reached out, it had done so without leaving a trace, like a ghost passing through a wall. The story's impact lingered. It wasn't just about the signal, but what it meant for humanity's place in the cosmos. If Voyager 2 had been touched, it suggested the galaxy was alive in ways we hadn't imagined, not with flashing lights or grand arrivals, but with quiet, deliberate connections. The signal, real or not, forced us to confront our assumptions about intelligence, communication, and the vastness of space. It reminded us that our messages, sent in hope, might not return unanswered. For now, Voyager 2 drifts on, its faint signals still reaching Earth, carrying the same old data about particles and fields. But those few minutes of strange, structured pulses have changed everything. They've ignited imaginations, fueled debates, and left a question hanging in the air. What happens next? If this was a message, who sent it, and why?